Let's talk about pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay?
I love
Because
that
this
phrase.
has something to do with, you know, the whole white privilege discussion, and you brought it up last time, you know, that kind of rubs you the wrong way.
Yes.
You know? Because it does, to some extent, assume that, hey, pretty much anybody can do anything, right? That we all start in the same place. So it's just a matter of effort, right? But we don't start in the same place. That's a fact. But at the same time, you know, you said it as if it has a negative connotation to it.
It does.
And it does for you. To me, it has a very positive connotation because when I say, like, for instance, Hal picked himself up by his bootstraps and he got on with it, I'm saying that because I admire you. And I could see that regardless of the fact that you had difficulties in your life and that, you know, your dad died early and you had a stepdad who didn't really do so well for your family, regardless of that, you still just fucking hammered at it until you got your family to a better place than you were. And so I would say, yeah, Hal picked himself up by his bootstraps, and he worked hard to get where he is, and I admire that. So why does it have a negative connotation for you and a positive connotation for me?
Because it gives the idea that the sole reason you're not where you want to be is you're lazy. Like there are not forces out there that do their part to make sure you don't. That's like putting a 4-year-old against Zeke Elliott and say, you got 2 arms and you got 2 legs. Right. Why can't you beat Zeke? Or like, are you kidding?
Yeah, but
and you're not trying hard enough.
Nobody's gonna say, oh, that kid didn't try hard enough.
Yeah.
You know,
he has to achieve.
We all recognize that we're born with different natural capacities.
Yes.
Right?
But it's not that you don't, I mean, it's not that you're not trying hard enough. Like, some of the abuse, some of the crap, some of the robbing Peter to pay Paul, some of the stuff I had to do to even just to get to level, then start building.
Okay. Tell me what you had to do to get to level.
Me, I
don't
had...
incriminate yourself. You can play
well, then I better not say anything.
You can play the fifth, but you know, is there an example you can give me on camera?
No. But, I mean, that's my personality. That's my personality. If once I get it in my head, I'm going to get it done. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's going to gnaw at me until I get it done. Mm-hmm. But that's just my personality. But yeah, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah, it has a level of self-responsibility in it, but it's assuming that you're just lazy, which is not the case. Not
the case for you.
Not the case for me, and not the case in a lot of areas. But yes, there's a certain. I will agree with this. There is a certain level of self-accountability that you have to achieve in this world, especially in the United States. The whole idea of when our founding fathers wrote, you know, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you read those words, you have for life and for liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That means you can chase that all day long and you may not get it. But you are free to chase it.
Yep.
So they had a sobering idea of what humanity is. We have this Disney version, like everybody's gonna win. No. Everybody's not gonna win. Everybody will win when they decide what their life is gonna be, or the way they want their life to go, and they pursue that. But everybody is not gonna win on our standards of winning.
Right. Not everybody can be prince and princess.
No, not everybody, but we sell that bill of goods. Like, if the school would have told me, hey Hal, you already cutting hair, you're super awesome at it, why don't you do that? But no, they funneled me. You got 2 choices. I don't know about you.
You mean in high school?
High school. They said college or military. That was my choices. Because the only kids that had trades were the burnouts and the losers, and the kids that was raised by their grandparents, and the ones that got free lunch, and the ones that had to walk home from school, and the latchkey kids.
And then they get kicked out of school.
Yeah.
To go to vote.
Yeah. They didn't never said, hey,
I
Hal.
thought that looked like fun.
They never said, hey, you can make a pretty sweet living
Yeah.
doing a trade.
Right.
Because that's not America's idea of winning. But my idea of winning, and most of us, when you become an adult, and you get, my idea of winning is running that debit card and it, ching, thank you,
Right.
money. That's it. Every time I call a plumber, they show up in a almost $100,000 dually. Come on, I made the wrong decisions.
That's a discussion about our education system.
Like, because
it's changing, but
because everybody's not gonna go that route. I don't care how great you are at computers. If your toilet doesn't flush, life is miserable.
talk about government messing stuff up. And how government's welfare has messed up certain people. Government subsidies and government loans, in my mind, have really messed up our education system.
That is
messed it up.
Everybody's in slavery. Everybody.
Yep.
If you owe somebody and they dictate your life, that's slavery. That's slavery, because you get out of school and okay, so we went to school. We went to college to get a degree so we could get a job and ultimately buy a house and live this whatever idea of life we have, right? Most of that, and it goes back to it, home ownership. You own a home, the rest of this stuff is easy to accomplish.
Okay.
But if your life is connected to a mortgage, and when I say a mortgage, you get out of school and you already owe $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. That's how much a house costs.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason I went to college.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I know some teachers who have gone to really prestigious schools, like gone to Baylor for $50,000 a year, just to get out and get a job that's $30,000 a year, right?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense at all.
Makes no sense. You're talking about ROI.
Right. Okay.
But we're all in slavery, and it's not government regulated, and you can let an 18, 19-year-old sign for this kind of money, but you won't give that same 18, 19-year-old $20,000 for his hamburger hut, because you feel like that's gonna fail, but his degree.
But you can get him on the hook for a degree in a Corvette.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Like, it should be things like you shouldn't be able to finance. Like a Corvette, you just need to have the money.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to finance one. You shouldn't be able to finance a wedding ring. You shouldn't be able to finance a TV. You shouldn't be able to finance any of that stuff.
Yeah. I have this idea that I try to hold this true in my family, that we don't finance toys.
Yes!
If we have a necessity, we need a roof over our heads.
Yes.
We can get a mortgage.
Yes.
We need to.
Yes,
right?
it's a necessary evil.
Right.
Because nobody has $250K sitting around.
But most people, frankly, your average American doesn't need, in my opinion, a car loan. They need a cheaper car.
They need a cheaper car. And I mean, there are those extreme circumstances. You got 9 kids, you probably gonna have to pay for something that's got enough room for.
But that's not the norm. The norm is you're 20, you got your first job, and you're also on the hook for $500 a month for a new Corvette.
Yeah. I wish.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they put us all into this slavery.
Yeah. And
we work, and we've seen now through the quarantine, everybody's life is connected to their job.
Yeah.
And so me, not moving from house to house to house to house like we did when we was growing up. No, I have to own houses. I can't pay for houses. And that was my saving grace through the quarantine. I didn't have a mortgage to pay.
Amen.
But I had plenty of friends that's got $2,500 a month they got to pay and job going.
See, but this goes back to one of the things I like about you from the beginning. When we first met, that was early on I had just bought a house. I needed a lot of work. I was doing a lot of work. You went through the process of buying a house that was about to be demolished. You bought it from the city, and then you worked your ass off and fixed it up and made it a livable, good home that you own outright. You put a lot of effort into that and a lot of time into that, and a lot of people just won't do that.
No.
They would rather, this goes back to the path of least resistance, they would rather just sign that note and say, I'm going to get me a McMansion today and not have to work for it.
And it's connected to a job that's fleeting.
And then COVID-19 hits, and you can't pay your mortgage.
You can't pay your mortgage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the craziest thing. But now that, now I'm in that position, I see how freeing life is. Because if I had to, I could go to Jack in the Box and work and pay my taxes.
Yeah.
You know, and pay my you know, home bills.
Right.
It's not it wouldn't be a problem. But I mean, I got guys, they got wife, kids, everything, and it's all connected to this job. If they lose this job, home goes, everything goes. And I'm like, no, that is a point of slavery. That is a point that is like, no. But we are in it because of toys.
Yeah.
How many times do we purge our houses? I know I purge my house at least 3 times a year of crap that I had to have.
Yeah. I mean,
and you can't tell me that wasn't up. Talk about conspiracy theories. Let's get them with debt.
with debt, yeah.
Let's get them with welfare. Let's get them with debt. Let's get the blacks with welfare, and let's get the whites with debt.
With COVID.
Yeah, COVID and debt.
We got McMansions over here.
Uh-huh.
We got welfare over here. We got them both.
We got them on,
Yeah.
and we gonna keep them fighting.
Yeah.
Who's the problem? Who's the real reason for their problem? I'm like, it's not either one of y'all. Y'all in this.
We talked about this a little bit the other day. That that there is this.
Y'all in the same zoo, just different cages.
Exactly. But at the same time, coming away from that conversation, I started to think, well, you know what? Are we just blaming somebody else, some fictitious person or group of people, and doing the same thing? Are we turning this into a rich versus poor thing?
On the ground, yes, it's a rich versus poor. They keep us at each other, but it's a reason why they keep us at each other. It's to so they can keep control over all of us.